Okay, do me a favor and light a candle or some incense because I am craving it and I'm in a dorm right now and I can't light anything because I'll get in trouble. But I wanted to chat, and I feel like those are necessary components to having a good chat. I'm comfortable. I hope you're comfortable. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully you can see me. And let's get started. Basically, I got my nails done today. I did blue for a pop of color because it's currently January and I'm about to get a snowstorm. So I'm miserable and cold all the time and I just want to be warm and happy. And so I brought a little sparkle to my life by getting blue nails. But I wanted to talk today to some friends. And I don't know you, but I feel like if you found this video, then maybe you're a friend. And maybe we could just hang out. I'm looking to just talk through some of the things I've been thinking about. I have my journal here. I got this from Barnes and Noble. I don't speak French. I'm not gonna be performative French girl, but I'm assuming this says something about like a paper or a journal or whatever. But I wrote something in here that I kind of wanted to talk about. And I've been thinking about manifesting, basically, if we're gonna like call it by its name. But when I had the idea, I had just woken up from a nap and I was actually thinking of it as more of imagining things. Because I was thinking about my childhood and I was very imaginative as a kid, almost to a point of it being like distracting. Some might call it like maladaptive, daydreaming, or whatever. I hesitate to call it maladaptive because I do think it helped me get through things, but I was thinking about my imagination and how I used to be a kid and I would play outside a lot, and I was an only child, so I was always alone, but I'd go outside and play, and I lived in like a neighborhood, but I had an area that was like a field where I probably wasn't supposed to be over there, but nobody told me not to, and I got to just like be outside. And I remember, being out there for hours at a time and kind of like, I don't know, just reaching a state of like calm that I didn't feel at any other point throughout the day, where I was just able to think about myself like as a kid, which I think self-reflection in kids is maybe a little bit more rare than in adults. So I think that time was very valuable for me because I sometimes listen to music out there, or I would just sit and think and look at the clouds and watch the sunset and stuff like that. And I was by myself, so I had nothing else to do but think. And I think I would think about like my day at school, or I would imagine myself being somewhere else, or imagine myself being someone else. And my imagination used to kind of take over my life. And this continued into my teenage years as well. I remember I would listen to music by the time I had a phone, I would like get ready and listen to music and just imagine that I was like the singer, that I was the star, or I would imagine that I was being interviewed by someone famous and that I had done something crazy. And it got to a point where it started to affect my life because I, for some reason, was fixated on getting really, really wealthy. Like that was what I wanted more than anything. And I wanted to be like a billionaire. And so I thought, what is a lucrative field to go into? And I considered like engineering, and specifically aerospace engineering or some sort of like piloting or something. And then I leaned into like, oh, I could be an astronaut. And I was very serious about this stuff when I was a kid. When I was like 13 or 14, I think. I remember just being really obsessed with this idea of reaching for literally the stars, but all like metaphorically, or not metaphorically, reaching for something that was almost unattainable. And at that point, I wasn't seeing my imagination come to life. And I was kind of reflecting on this when I woke up from that nap. I was thinking, like, what? I mean, I know that imagination is so important in envisioning something else, and you have to start from where you are and look out and see something else in order to get there. So imagination is the first step, right? And I think it's a crucial step, and it's something that should be ongoing. And this will tie back into manifesting, I guess, if I stay on topic. But I was thinking, like, because I've always been imaginative. Even when I was an older teenager, I was like, in high school. And I had a lot of freedom in high school compared to a lot of my classmates and stuff, because I was kind of in like a weird home situation that wasn't necessarily very like healthy, but it was, I had like independence to an extent. And I also like went to a high school in a different city, so I was like away from my parents in a different city, driving back and forth and kind of branching out into my own life, starting at probably like 16 or 17. And I would say that's when it really kicked off. But I was thinking, like, I had all these ideas and things that I wanted, who I imagined myself to be. And this changed over time. It wasn't always an astronaut. Sometimes it was like a model or a YouTuber, like vlogger, or I don't know, someone who could cook really well. That's what I would imagine for myself. And I was wondering why I didn't even get remotely close to achieving those things. Like, I didn't even like take the steps to do anything like that. Like, I didn't even have a YouTube channel, so I couldn't make videos and become famous if I didn't have a channel. So even if that was who I wanted to be, I couldn't even become it. And I definitely don't want to be famous now, but I was thinking, like, why couldn't I do it? And I realized on my own that I think it's because I didn't have stability, and I didn't have support, and I didn't have a lot of freedom. And I think that those three components are so important. You need to have your freedom so that you can have like the time and energy to do the things you want to do. You need support because, trying new things and becoming someone new is like, I don't know, it's a very transformative experience, and you need people who are going to uplift you throughout that. And then also stability, because you need something that's consistent throughout your life. You can't have everything change all at once and then still be very successful unless you're very, very resilient. So looking into it, I was realizing, that even when I was in high school and I felt like I had a lot of independence, I wasn't really that free. And I was oftentimes burdened by the emotional dysfunction of my parents and the like dysfunctional family dynamic that we had, and mental health issues and stuff like that, and various things. But I realized that's why I wasn't able to imagine my way into a better life. And I realized something really beautiful recently, very recently. I'm talking like a couple days ago. That I'm at a point in my life now where it's the first time that I've ever had everything I need to become whatever I want. And realizing that has been just, it's been like an empowering feeling. It's been like very refreshing because I'm in college now. My family dynamic has changed for various reasons to a point where I am free from the burden of what I was going through then, and also like that burden is never present for me anymore because the two issues are resolved basically. So even when I go home for the holidays, I'm not dealing with what I dealt with a couple years ago. And I have like stability, I have support, I have everything that I need, and it's the first time I've ever had all of it. And it's also college, for me, of course, I'm learning so much about the world, but I'm also learning so much about myself. And I think that's an enhancement to it, because through that, I'm imagining things that are like good for me, you know? I'm imagining a future that is good for me and it's good for the people around me. And I don't know. So I was writing down in this book, I wrote down everything I wanted to be now that I can be whatever I want. And I'm realizing that things that have been in my subconscious mind for a while are coming true, and that coming to fruition. And I'll try to think of some examples. So I basically, I'll describe my life very vaguely now. Basically, I am everything that I wanted to be when I was, 4 or 5 years younger. And I'm everything I never thought I would be. And that sounds kind of dramatic, but I had a traumatic childhood. And so when you have gone through things that kind of stunt your development or maybe make you feel different than your peers, it's kind of hard to imagine having a normal life. And now I am a college student. I'm affording college. I have a car. I have all the technology that I need. I have supportive friends. I have acquaintances and friends everywhere I go. I am physically healthy. My grades are very, very good. I have a loving boyfriend. I've been in a relationship for a while. And I have family, get like really good relationships with my family members. And I go on walks, and I can walk out my door and go like be in a city that like I love, and be in an environment that is fulfilling to me, and I can afford things, and I have a job now, and I'm a server at a really cute restaurant, and my drive home is beautiful, and it's just like I have everything that I ever wanted and that I never ever thought I would have. And I think everything that I have is because I've worked for it. I wouldn't, I mean, I understand that I am privileged. I completely understand that. But I have also worked with my privilege and worked as an individual to obtain more and more and more from life. And I don't think it's possible to credit everything that I have to systemic privilege, because I have overcome a lot and I've worked very, very hard. I'm unrecognizable from the person I was when I was younger. And I don't know, I feel very happy with it. But now I'm realizing that I should be imagining so much more. Like I have so much I could just get now that I have all the tools that I need to be successful. And that was kind of weird to me when I thought about imagination, and then I realized that's kind of like what manifestation is. Because I thought of manifestation as this like thing that weird people do, honestly. Not to be rude, I thought of manifestation as kind of like quackery, that doesn't like do anything. It's kind of like, why are you saying these things? Saying something doesn't make it true. But I think it kind of does. I think I'm realizing that you kind of subconsciously get yourself into situations. Like, I have the things that I have because I believed that I could have them. And that's like really cool to think about, because I have very, very big goals for my life. Not, being an astronaut really anymore, but very big goals. And I'll be honest, I still want to get rich. I mean, I would love nothing more than to not worry about money again a day in my life. That's a goal. I want to get to a point where I can create generational wealth for my family, but also support myself through the end of my life and not have to worry about it. That's a goal. And it doesn't seem impossible anymore. And maybe I think I will continue to experience hardships throughout my life that make me question my ability, but I know myself and I know what I have already overcome. And I only see myself growing. I don't see myself getting stuck. I'm not in control of everything, and there could be horrible things that happen in my life that I'm not wishing upon myself, but they could happen, and that would change the course of my life. But I can't spend my time dwelling on that. And instead, I'm able to realize that I can get through it anyway. Like, even if those horrible things do happen, I can get through them. And that's just like awesome to think about. And I was able to write so much in here. I wrote like 4 full pages of things that I want to be. And I was realizing I already am some of these things, but also like I'm very close to becoming some of the other things. So I don't know. I don't want to tell you my secrets. I don't want to tell you what I've been manifesting, or oh my god, it feels stupid to even say manifesting. I don't want to tell you, things that aren't true yet, but just know that I have a lot of plans. And not that you care, but I guess to make this relevant to like an external audience rather than just like a monologue. I don't know. I would love to hear what other people have to say about this, like the topic of manifestation, or maybe like self-actualization. Like the hierarchy of needs. I feel like I'm kind of at the top of that pyramid right now, where I am able to self-actualize and be very creative and problem solve, and I have all of those other needs met, which I am incredibly grateful for. I would appreciate any thoughts, like especially if you've experienced like a manifestation, or if you've benefited from it, or if you have strong beliefs about it. Um, I believe personally that everything requires planning and goals. I don't believe I'm going to win the lottery. I think everything that I will get will be because of my own effort. And so I'm not someone who's, I have a very good work ethic, and I have good planning skills, and I am able to get through hard things. So I personally, like, I feel pretty equipped to get whatever I want. And I would appreciate, any other words of wisdom, hopefully anything constructive you may have. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I guess just hopefully somebody watches this, and if you've made it this far, that's crazy. I appreciate you so much. I hope that you're also able to meet all of your basic needs, and then, have the freedom and stability and support that we all deserve. And also that you can be this support for other people as well. So, yeah, well, I guess I'm done talking. I'll be making more videos in the future when I feel like it, but thank you for listening, and I hope you have a good night.